Hey there, Diecast family. How you guys all doing today? All right, so today I thought I'd cover a subject that I haven't really even touched on, and I have a few of them in my collection, as you can see here. Let's take a look at some Fox chassis Mustangs today, shall we? And well, Ford's Fox platform, man, did they build a lot of cars on these? Okay, most people when they think of the Fox platform at Ford, the Mustang is what comes to mind, but they don't realize that a lot of other cars were built on that platform. In fact, the first Fox chassis car was actually not even the Mustang, it was the Fairmont that debuted in 1978. The all-new Mustang built on the Fox platform, that debuted in 79. It replaced the 74 through 78 Mustang II. There were also variants of the Granada built, as well as the Cougar and all of its many variants. The Thunderbird, the all new for 82 Continental that was built through 87. That was also built in the Fox platform as well. The Mark 7. And boy, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of cars built on the Fox platform. It was very, very versatile. Okay, so we're going to take a look at these Mustangs today. And I've got the Fox body Mustang was kind of divided into two different generations. You had the early generation that they often refer to as the Four Eyes because they had four seal beam headlamps. And then you got the later Euro style headlamp ones. They were generally known as the 5.0s that were built between 87 and 93. Okay, and I actually have a pretty good representation up here. The only ones I'm lacking are the in-between 4-eye ones that were built between 83 and 85. They still had the four steel beam headlamps. The only difference was they had kind of a revised grille and revised tail panel. Okay, so let's dive into this. All right, so on the turntable, we're going to start in the inaugural year of 1979. And this is just actually a base Mustang that just so happens to have a 5-liter. It wasn't an HO by any means, though. And this is one of the two body styles they had. There was also a notchback version. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this. The Mercury Capri, which was basically the Mustang's twin, you know that one as being like a European style car that was actually built in Germany. Well, they switched the Capri name to their own variant that was basically a Mustang with a fancier grille, a nicer interior, and all that stuff. So I also got to mention that the Capri was built. I think the Capri went away after the 86 model year. They did not continue that through the end to 93 like the Mustang did. But every one of these castings I'm going to show you today, they're all Greenlight castings. And this is actually a really nice color scheme. I like this very sparkly metallic silver with a nice dark red, kind of like burgundy interior. I remember my dad, he was actually working for a Ford dealer in the early 80s when these were on sale, and he said that there was quite a few people looking at them because, they were such a radical departure from the Mustang II. The Mustang II was riding around on what was basically primitive architecture, and it was, a very lackluster effort for a Mustang. This here was all new from the ground up, and a lot of people responded very positively to it. There was a few of the, early 80s quality glitches, but that was to be expected. All the manufacturers are struggling with that. There you go, 1979 Ford Mustang. So yeah, really nice details here. You got your little 5.0 badge. Looks like there's a nice little, barely deceptible red pinstripe going down there. And then this was in the years when they weren't using body color molding. They were using like black. Really nice job with those jewel-like tail lamps. And yeah, the nice little molded in side view mirrors, really good. Nice shot of the grille there. This would have been a Ford insignia right off to the side there. Yeah, very nice little cars. Pretty decent performance too, even in the early days. At least as far as early 80s standards. Okay, now I will show you an all new for 82 GT. And yes, the hood just closed on me. That's okay. You know what? That's an easy one to get open. We'll pop it open again. All right, so I believe 82 was actually the first year for the GT. The Hot Mustang in 81 was the Cobra. I remember seeing a Cobra variant that was painted up in a really wild color scheme where it was a black body with these like combination lime green and yellow stripes. It was really a standout. But this was the year they came out with a slightly high output version of the 5-liter. This is a nice one too. It's almost the same silver as that last one I showed you. This one's got a black interior with these smoked T-tops on there, which is really nice. That was an option, by the way. They didn't keep that option around because Ford found that really compromises structural integrity. Because on the later truly high output Mustangs in the later 80s and into the 90s, yeah, there was quite a bit of torsional stresses being applied to these bodies, and so that's why they decided to let that T-top option go. So the GT, you'll notice, it's got a spoiler and a little air dam here, and also this little scoop on the hood, which I don't think that was functional, by the way. And you know, you got some little extra lights on there, a nice little body color grille with a blackout effect. And then let me really quick give it a tap, and we'll pop open that hood. And we'll show you that little 5.0 under there with the. So you notice on the GT with the HO version of the 5.0, there was a dual snorkel air cleaner. I believe they were running a. I think this was just a Holley 2-barrel at this point, but eventually they switched it to a Holley 4-barrel, which gave it a much better performance, you know, response. And then this was a pretty slick wheel option that they offered. Pretty nice. Yeah, this is when the all-new Mustang was kind of finding its footing. Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you the other end of the Mustang spectrum with this guy. This is also an 82 model, but this one is a Ghia. Yes, they were still making the Ghia. I think 82 or possibly even 83 was the final year they let that name go. They realized that, you know, plush luxury Mustangs were kind of really not the way to go. This little effort is by Greenlight. They decided to put some little skis on the roof there. And the reason they did that is that there was a print ad that featured a blue Mustang just like this with skis attached to the roof in one of their ads. So they're just kind of faithfully representing that. Now this one also has a 5.0 badge, you'll notice. But this is not a high output version. But you'll notice that they did erroneously, this hood. They did erroneously give it the dual snorkel air cleaner, okay? I assure you that the Ghia did not get the HO version of the 5.0. But, you know, this is once again a great effort where they've done this nice metallic blue with this blue interior that's really sharp. This one appears to have the same wheels as that GT I showed you because these were pretty much interchangeable. They could be on any model, even the, you know, the lowly little 4-cylinder model. And they were using some kind of a V6 in these years too. I want to say it was still the old 2.8 because I don't think a 3.8 had come out by this point yet. But the mainstays were usually the 2.3 liter 4 and then also, of course, the 5 liter, you know, Windsor V8. Now, I thought these skis were removable, but it turns out that they're actually attached with little holes that they drilled in the roof. You can kind of look in the interior, you'll see them right there. Pretty faithfully represented chassis. Looks like they clear coated this chassis too over there at Greenlight. Yeah, that's a nice little Mustang there. I like that one. That's cool. Little Ghia. Okay, so now we're going to skip all the way to model year 1988, I believe it is. And this is when the GT truly meant something. So this little baby is going to have the high output, the truly high output 5.0 that has 225 horses and, oh man, something like, what was it, like 320 foot-pounds of torque. It was some pretty high amount of torque that they had in this engine. It was really impressive. And they had, you know, a tuned intake runners. They had actually tubular style, almost header exhaust, low restriction mufflers and catalytic converters. And so, yeah, it was a very serious effort. And they definitely were giving the Firebird and the Camaro a run for their money. However, okay, and I'm going to hold, you know, true to this, okay? You know, I don't mind the 5.0 Mustangs. They were pretty cool, but they were a little squirrely, okay? My crazy mother, had one of these things. She had the one I'm going to show you next, which was an LX 5.0 in a hatchback. It was a 92 model. And, you know, my brother and I, you know, she babied that car. I think sometimes that she loved that car more than she loved us. And, you know, my brother and I got a hold of it one night, and we took that thing out, and we ragged it out around town and on the freeway and everything, and just had a blast with it. And we even took the silencer out of the air cleaner box, and then we forgot to put the silencer back in. And next time my mother drove that car, she threw a fit. "What did you boys do to my car?" You know, gosh, I know. That's all she cared about was that Mustang, I swear. That might be another reason I have kind of sour taste in my mouth for these. But anyways, I believe that the F bodies from GM were superior in every way. Handling, especially handling, because that was really important. I mean, these GTs and the LX50s, they took almost nothing to get sideways and possibly crack up. You know, in the Camaro and Firebird, you had to try a little harder. You could still do it, trust me. But it was a little, in the Mustang, it seemed like it happened a lot faster, that they would get sideways and you'd end up, you know, possibly cracking it up. But this is a nice little effort by Greenlight here. So this one's got the turbine spoke wheels. This is in the years they were still doing 4-bolt lug wheels. A GT equipped like this would have probably had black leather interior, which was a nice touch, you know. Have a little bit of plushness to your Mustang. If you look carefully in here, you can kind of see the high output 5.0. You see the tuned intake runner. It's actually supposed to be silver. I remember the engine was gray and the intake track was silver in these. So this is actually incorrect the way they've done it, where it's all black like that. All the other details, though, are very faithfully replicated. I remember in these years they had this little red stripe that went down in the inset of the body side molding. And then you'll notice on the earlier Mustangs, they had that kind of louvered slat by the rear window. In these years, they removed the louvered slat, but that part of the glass was blacked out, because that's actually the inside pillar you're seeing there. They would fog that out, black it out with the window treatment that they would do. This has got a nice little spoiler in the back. They would incorporate the third brake light into the spoiler. Now the GTs, they had their own tail lamp design. They had this kind of louvered look, where it's kind of segmented. Got your little Ford blue oval right there. And yeah, you know, believe it or not, the LX50 was, I think, about 1/10 of a second quicker than the GT, because it weighed less. All this cladding you see, you know, the rear air dam, the front air dam, this side cladding here, that all added weight. And also the hatchback Mustang, because it had that heavy glass, that also weighed more than the notchback did. Okay, so that's a very nice example of a, you know, that's like peak late 80s GT right there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you a 1992, same year as my crazy mom's. She had the, like I said, the hatchback though. I do remember her looking at a hatchback that was that exact same color though. I do remember that. So like I said, this is called an LX 5.0 from 1992. And this was lighter and a little quicker than the GT. And you could get, I forgot to mention this, so these could get both GT and the 5-liter HO, or I'm sorry, LX 5.0, I should say. You could have the choice of either an automatic or a 5-speed, okay? I know that if you had a 5-speed LX 5.0 notchback, that was without question the quickest Mustang that they made in the Fox lineup like this. This is a really nice effort by them. I like how this has got the updated wheels that they had. So 92, that was second to the last year. 93 was when they came out with the Cobra, the all new Cobra that was really quick and also very rare now. They're actually almost impossible to come by. Now this one here has a little better effort with the intake. See, the intake is correct. Other components of the engine are black like they should be. The part of the engine you can't see, you know, the block and all that, that would have been like painted gray. That's the color they were using. And now the LXs, most of them came with cloth interiors. But I do think that leather was an option, though. You'd pay a little more for that, obviously, though. Yeah, the notchback was that was a sharp look. You know, it was kind of fairly innocuous looking. And you see that this is the tail lamp treatment that the LX got. And I think they were running 16-inch wheels on these. That was actually the big size back in those days. Button this up here. Very nice effort by Greenlight. Like this color too. That's got a lot of metallic flake. Look at the shine on that. Really pretty. Nice one. And there's quite a few versions of these out there too by Greenlight. They offer many of them, so it's pretty cool. All right, so there you have it. If there's any Fox body fanatics out there, that's definitely your video. I have, you know, quite a bit of knowledge about these things because, like I said, you know, my crazy mom owning one. You know, I remember she test drove quite a few cars before she settled on that Mustang. We actually drove a, I think it was a 92 Firebird Formula. Not the Formula 350. It was the base Formula, the one that had the 170 horse throttle body injected 350. I mean, it would squirt off the line very quick. It just didn't have a lot of top end, because basically, if you think about it, all it really was it was a truck engine that they put in this Firebird, and because of the light weight of the Firebird and the torque characteristics at 350, it, like I said, it would squirt off the line really quick. You just didn't have any top end in the thing. You know, unfortunately the 5.0 Mustang would outrun one of those. Now, when you get up into the, like the Firebird, Formula 350, they had the really heavy breathing tuned port injected engine, or even I think they had a Firehawk that you could get, but that thing was really rare and very expensive. Now those would definitely spank the Mustang, no problem. But yeah, that base formula, it wasn't going to do it. Yeah, the base formula was really modeled as kind of more or less like a cruiser type. It wasn't really considered a quick car. I remember that formula was very nicely appointed in the interior. It was I thought very luxurious for a Firebird. Kind of reminded me of like the Camaro Berlinetta. Remember those? They were kind of like the luxury themed Camaro that still had that sporty feel about them. Those were kind of neat, but they had kind of a limited market though. But anyways, there you go, diecast fans and Fox body fans. That's for you. And I'm gonna keep coming. I got lots more to show you. So in the meantime, you guys take care of each other. God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.